Today marks the 2-year anniversary, give or take a few days, of my final pay packet as a teacher. I've been a full-time YouTuber for 2 years. This video is going to be about the things that I've learned along the way. Hello folks and welcome to today's vlog. Something very different from today. It is a Kev sitting and chatting video. I know some of you love them. I know some of you don't really care for them. We'll get onto that in a little while as part of this video, but that's what we're doing today because, as I said in the intro, it's now been 2 years since I went full-time on YouTube, and I shared a lot of that journey in the early days when I was leaving work and the early months after I left work, and then we kind of had our shift much more towards the daily family vlogging content, which obviously we're still going to be doing, don't panic. But I think it's only fair that for those of you who were supporting me way back when to get an idea of how things have changed, where we are now 2 years later. And also just a big thank you to everyone who supported us at any point during the process, because hand on heart, is that where my heart is? Hand on Lion Cat's eyes, I didn't know if we'd get to this point. I know I talked a good game at the time. I was very confident at the time. But that was, you know, you have to project confidence. If you go into something suggesting there's a possibility you might fail, even to yourself, then you're more likely to fail. I didn't let those kind of thoughts enter my head. Whenever they did, I slammed them down. But they did enter my head occasionally. And I think if you'd have put a gun to my head 2 years ago and said, do you think you'll still be a full-time YouTuber in 2 years, or will you have gone back to teaching or gone and got a different real job? I think I probably would have said, I imagine I'll be back at work by now. Because remember, the reason I left work wasn't because I was ready. I've talked before about just how little money we made in those first couple of months when I was full-time. It wasn't anywhere near a full-time salary. Luckily, we had kind of Christmas that year saved us. And I think I was this close to going back to work in January 2018 because we were like that much money left. We were almost run out of the money we'd set aside over the kind of 6 or 7 month notice period that I gave at work. But then we had a good Christmas. YouTube is good at Christmas, and we decided to keep it going until the summer, and then things kind of kept snowballing from there. But it was touch and go at one point, probably more than one point, whether I'd be able to carry on. But there's so many of you who supported me and us, supported the whole family of channels that we've got now, supported us through those really hard times and made it possible for us to really give it everything, take this massive risk, push through it. And yeah, here we are 2 years later. I think anyone who's watched more than like 3 of our videos would be able to see just how much happier we all are 2 years later, how much more we're getting to go out and do things and enjoy life. And we're not actually in the financial disaster that I thought we would be either. Don't get me wrong, and I always put this in as a disclaimer, I'm still not earning as much money now as I did when I was teaching, but the gap between the two is a lot closer now than it used to be, and we're doing okay. So that was a long rambling intro. I hope I said thank you in there. I was supposed to. If I didn't, I'll say it again now. Thank you for all the support over the last 2 years, whether that's through Patreon, through subscribing, through viewing, through watching adverts, through buying merch, through being a Twitch sub or a channel member, or there's probably other ways, people sharing our content, just watching our videos. It all piles into the overall pot of awesome. So if you've done any of that stuff at any point, thank you. You made it possible for us and for me to carry on doing this. I will always appreciate that. But that's not what you're here for. You're not here for me to say thank you. You're here because you want to know what I've learned about being a full-time YouTuber over the last couple of years. And as ever with this kind of thing, I've made a little list on my phone. As of right now, hold on, I need to know this for the clickbaity thumbnail. 5. This is my top 5 tips. It's not tips. It's my top 5 things that I've learned about being a full-time YouTuber. And as usual, they're in no particular order because I don't think any of these are necessarily more important than others. They're just things I learned in the order that I thought of them when I sat down yesterday afternoon planning this video. So, number 1, and I think anyone who follows me anywhere will realise that this has probably been the key to the success, is you have to love what you're doing and be willing to work insane hours to get it done. It's not enough, certainly for someone who goes full-time too early like we did. I know there are plenty of YouTubers out there who can put out 3 videos a month and they get so many views on them that that's enough for them to be full-time YouTubers. I would argue that that's not full-time. They might be earning full-time money from it, but there's not a chance they're putting a 40-hour working week into their channels. I just don't see how that's, unless they're doing like animation or something scripted or music or something like that involves a lot of preparation work behind the scenes. If it's somebody who's just putting 3 or 4 sitting and chatting to camera videos out a month, they're working like 4 days a month and earning full-time money, and that's not what this video is about. To give you some context, over the last month across all of our channels, I think we've released more than 30 videos, plus I've done some live streams in there as well. So no, 30 videos is a low number. Nearly 100 videos. It's 30 videos in the last month on this channel. It's 30 videos a week on a busy week, because we've got this channel, we've got Lollujo, my football manager channel, Lollujo 2, my new multi-gaming channel, Through Andy's Eyes, Andy's channel. We've got my Twitch, we've got you now, we've got Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, on an average month, I'd be releasing somewhere between 80 and 100 videos. Now that is a ridiculous amount of work. Each one of those videos, I think you could probably set aside maybe 4 hours of time to create. I know some people don't necessarily believe that my football manager videos take 4 hours to make, because they're kind of raw, not really jump cutty, edity type videos. What you have to remember of those kind of videos is you don't see the in-betweeny bits. I'll do maybe 8 to 10 videos over the course of a 60-match football season. So I count the time between the 2 videos where I'm having to play the game as preparation time for that video. You might say, Kev, that's just you playing Football Manager, you're having fun. Yeah, I am. I love my job. I don't deny the fact I love what I do. But for me to get daily videos out on a Football Manager channel, I have to play at least 2 hours of Football Manager a day, every day. And if I have a day where I can't record a video, so I have to stack 2 up, you double that. So these days where I've come on the vlog and said, I've just recorded 5 Football Manager videos, that was probably like a 15-hour day, a 10 to 15-hour day. Sometimes they're a little bit closer together. So there's a lot of work involved in that. Obviously, the vlog is a huge edit, sometimes a bigger edit than others, but you're looking at a couple of hours worth of editing, which I don't have to do, thankfully, on any of the other channels, because I'd need an editor. If I had to do the kind of edits we do here on the other channels, it wouldn't be possible to produce the kind of content, the volume of content that we do. But I do kind of take pride in editing the vlog together nicely as a way of showing people that I do know how to edit. I just choose to do my gaming videos in a certain let's play, streaming almost style. But I would say on a day, on an average week, I'm probably spending, I can't even do the sums in my head. Let's say, because I often don't get around to doing Andy's videos, we don't do Lollujo 2 every single day. So let's say an average of 20 videos a week, 4 hours each. You've got 80 hours. There's probably a little bit of time saving in there. So let's say between 70 and 80 hours a week just producing video content. So that's planning, sometimes writing, recording, editing, rendering, uploading, scheduling, the whole process, start to finish. You've got about 80 hours of just creating content. But then there's all the other work that goes alongside that as well. Talk to any YouTuber and they'll tell you that only around half their time is actually spent creating content. For me, it is more than half my time because I create so much content, and that's why some other areas of our business do suffer a little bit, because I don't get to spend as much time promoting what we do. So our other social medias are a bit of a wasteland at times, where I don't share what we do often enough. I don't go out searching for new viewers because I don't have the time to do it. I don't go out seeking a lot of brand deals. Most of the brand deals that we do are companies that have come to us, or stuff that just seemed such an obvious fit that it was just one quick email to approach them. And of course you've got all the grown-up business stuff to do as well, managing tax, managing business banking stuff and finances, and making sure that you've got enough money to feed your family for the month. It's the kind of job where I am kind of at work from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed. Because when I wake up in the morning, even when I'm lying in bed or sat on the toilet, what an image. I'll be sat there on my phone going through the YouTube comments that have come in overnight, going through the tweets that have come in overnight, the Facebook messages, looking at the comments on Instagram. I'll check my emails. By the time I've gone through all of that on my phone, I've probably lied in bed for a few minutes, been to the toilet, had my breakfast, drunk my coffee, and I've been working the whole time. Then I'll jump in the shower and come straight out here to the garage and start making video. All the time when I have I'm doing a lot of air quotes today. I don't mean to be the air quotes guy, but they seem appropriate when I come out, when I have a break from my work. So when I'm in between videos, I'm actually still working because I'll go and check the comments, check the tweets, check all that stuff again. It all comes under that umbrella of work. When I'm finished for the day, I'll be making dinner whilst checking social media, or maybe watching some of our competitors. I don't watch a lot of YouTube for pleasure anymore. I watch people who do stuff in similar genres to what we do to get an idea of what they're up to, maybe areas that we can improve. So a lot of that is research time. And then in the evenings, Anna always moans about our evenings, because certainly at this time of year where a lot of my work day is spent out doing family stuff, I'm doing that work that I'd normally do in the day. That takes place during the evening. But even when I can get my work done during the day, I stream 2 or 3 nights a week on Twitch, and now. We do the podcast once a week. There's not much time. And if I didn't love every part of this job, I wouldn't have been able to do it for as long as I have. I understand how people burn out on this. Fingers crossed, I haven't experienced any signs of burnout yet, but I have been going at this full speed, pedal to the metal for 2 years full time. But remember, the 2 years before that, I was producing daily content on the Football Manager channels for 2 years. I was making the vlog for 6 months before I left work. So that was 2 videos a day, every day, whilst working as a full-time teacher. So I've kind of been going at full pace for 4 years now. There will be a burnout at some point. I fully acknowledge that. I just hope by the time it happens, I've made enough money to be able to have a bit of time off. Or I'd like to think before burnout comes, I'll be able to have built up enough of a reserve of money so that I can just say to everyone, look, we're having a month off of everything. No content for a month. And I think it would probably be something we do at this sort of time of year. I think the month of September, maybe even starting as soon as next year, would be a good month to have off, because Football Manager is dead at this time of year. The big games for the end of the year haven't really started coming out yet. We've had the summer holiday excitement on the vlog. We've had back to school, which is a big thing for the vlog. But September, especially now the conventions and stuff that I went to in September previously have been moved. September is going to be quite a quiet month across all the channels. So to be able to say maybe even this time next year, right, we've got a couple of months of money set aside, so we're going to use one of them to just have a month off of everything, a month off of creation. We'll be back on the 1st of October. That would be the dream, but we can't do that this year. We're not, like I say, we're not rolling in money. So yeah, unfortunately, still no break. But we do squeeze in mini breaks. Obviously, we've got Belgium this week, and I think we've found a nice medium as a family where we can have our little mini breaks, which is good. Right, what was my next thing? I've talked for like 15 minutes and only done my first point of 5. This is where that editing comes in that I talked about before. So linking into the stuff about money, it's almost as if I planned this. Linking into the stuff about money, it is important if you are considering becoming a full-time YouTuber. It is not for the faint-hearted. Your money, your bank balance does this throughout the year. I have had my best paid month in my life in the last 12 months, where I earned like double what I've ever earned in a month before. It was an extraordinary month. But I've also had months where I've earned less than what I used to earn when I worked part-time in a shoe shop when I was still at school. And it seriously varies to that degree. And at the moment, we're in one of the down parts, because a huge part of my income is from the Football Manager channel. When that is riding high, and combining that with Christmas advertising, the money I get paid in January is traditionally always very nice money. But once you get round to August, views are down on that channel. This channel, as much as we get more views here, it doesn't pay as well. CPMs are not consistent across channels. That's another thing that I've learned. We could earn, I know I'm not allowed to talk specifics, but we could earn between $6 and $10 per 1,000 views on the Football Manager channel, where we'd maybe earn $2 per 1,000 views on this channel. And just very, very rough ballparks. It pays so much more because it's such a targeted, tight niche. And when you get that perfect storm of doing 1 million views in a month because the game's just come out, just as CPMs are at their highest because it's Christmas, I'm sure those of you with a pen and paper and a calculator can do the maths and work out just how good a Football Manager month can be. But on the flip side, when the CPM is low and the views are low, and I think I've perhaps had maybe 400,000 views on that channel this month, which is still an extraordinary number, but it's not 1 million, and I'm getting paid half for them what I would have been paid if it had happened in November or December. And you see why it starts to get a little bit this is a bit low, don't like this. So yeah, it is massively up and down, and you have to be prepared for that, and you have to be disciplined when you have those enormous months. You've got and we didn't do this so much last year, which is why last summer was such a struggle. This summer we planned it a little bit better, and when I did get paid in January and February for the November and December periods, we put almost all of that money to one side because we knew we'd need it now. So you've got to be a little bit sensible about it and almost take a view of you not getting paid the amount that YouTube pay you every month. So you have all these various things that come in: YouTube, Twitch, Patreon, merch sales. It all comes in throughout the month, and if you're not careful, if you're used to always working for someone else, it's easy to view that as that's my money that I've been paid this month. But it's not really, because your business expenses have to come out of that. And certainly as a daily vlogger, there's a lot of business expenses because we're always out and about doing stuff. That is all stuff that has to come out of the business rather than me paying it personally. You also have to pay your tax, national insurance, student loan repayments, all has to come out of that money as well. So what I've tried to do this year, which I didn't do in the first year, but in the second year, I've been paying myself a set amount each month. So I don't really notice the ups and downs as much because I have my business account that the balance goes woo, 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 woo. Then my personal account, which just I pay myself once a month. Like if I had a real job, I pay myself an amount that covers my bills, gives us a little bit extra to spend on other stuff. And yeah, the rest of it is sat there to cover business expenses, to pay my tax bill at the end of the year, and to cover months like this month where, I mean, if we make, I don't even want to guess at a number. If we make $2,000 this month, then I'd be surprised. And you might think, yeah, but Kev, $2,000's loads. Yeah, except I was earning like 40 grand a year as a teacher, plus doing YouTube on the side. So $2,000 over the course of a year, $2,000 a month is £24,000. So yes, some people can live off that, but I'm not just one person. There's 5 of us that have to live off of my salary. So 5 people can't live off 24 grand comfortably. Anyway, I know people out there do, and I wouldn't like to ever be in that situation myself again. But obviously we're used to living our life a certain way and a certain standard of living. So for us, if we only bring in $2,000 in a month, then yeah, that is panic stations a little bit. Or it would be if it wasn't for the fact that we've got money set aside to kind of balance it out. You've got to be quite clever about doing that, and it kind of balances it out then, so you don't experience the huge highs when you earn loads of money, but also the lows don't really hurt as much, because as long as I get my money into my bank account each month, it doesn't really matter what's going on in the business account. As long as it doesn't go hugely overdrawn, then we're fine. Changing direction a little bit and moving away from the money and just sort of lifestyle kind of stuff, and actually more specific YouTube content creation stuff. One of the biggest things that I've learned that I wish I knew a year ago, 2 years ago, 3, 4 years ago, and I think this is something that a lot of creators struggle with, and that is, and I know this is going to cause people to get offended in the comments. A few people will go, but so be it. That's another thing that's not on my list, but you do learn to not really care when people have a moan anymore. You get negativity every day. It's water off a duck's back now. I just block them. I have a 1 strike and you're out policy. If you're grumpy at me, I block you, and then I never have to hear you be grumpy again. But the thing that I was trying to get to was viewers don't always know what they want. And it's so counterintuitive as a content creator, because even the YouTube gurus will tell you that the best way to make content your audience will enjoy is to ask your audience what they want to see. And you should always tailor your content towards what your audience want. I completely disagree. I think I've fallen down that rabbit hole too many times at this point, and it never goes well. I think I actually think the opposite of that is true. You should make content that you're passionate about and that you enjoy, and then an audience will find you. And that means you might not necessarily always have the same audience. And that's not me saying I'm not grateful to the people who've got me where I am and all that kind of stuff. But if I woke up tomorrow morning and decided I didn't want to play Football Manager anymore, then it would be mad to carry on making daily Football Manager videos just because that's what my audience want. Because if I'm not enjoying making those videos, then it's immediately obvious in the videos that I'm not enjoying them, and people will stop watching, views will start to dwindle. So in that kind of situation, it would actually be much better to just do what I want to do. At the moment, I'm loving Minecraft, for example. So I'm playing a lot of Minecraft on lollujo 2. And I'm really enjoying it. If I decided I wanted to do just Minecraft, not Football Manager, then I kind of have to go with that, because otherwise everything suffers. If I'll be miserable because I'm just sort of going through the motions of making content I don't like. And like I say, views end up dropping. We've been guilty of it here on the vlog channel as well. I took it too much to heart when people said, Kev, I don't like it when you sat in the garage just talking. And it does show in the views where when I do a garage video like this one, I guarantee it won't hit 10,000 views within 24 hours like some of the normal family vlogs do. Most of the normal family vlogs will hit 10,000 views in about 24 hours. A Kev in the garage video might hit 5,000 views in the first 24 hours. So the audience that we've got don't necessarily like these kind of videos. But what I've found with the last 3 or 4 of these that I've done is these are the ones that produce the views over time. These are the ones that get out there and bring in new audience and find their people. Because I'm passionate about it, then people find the content and you start to get the views that way. And I think it's something I'm going to be consciously doing a little bit more, is just following what I want to do that day rather than feeling like I have to do certain things because that's what my viewers expect. There have been times where we've done 5 or 6 days in a row of just me sat on the sofa with the camera pointing a bit at me and a bit at Andy, with me chatting about something that he's done and him doing Andy things in the background. And I know there's a lot of people who are only watching this channel for Andy, and I've been a little bit inconsistent with our line on this over the years. But the one thing I always try and get back to when my head is screwed on right is this isn't Andy's channel, this is my channel. I know it's called the Chapman Family at the moment. It probably won't be forever. There's going to come a time where the rest of the family are barely on at all, because Anna finishes uni in a year and is going to go and start a full-time job. She's going to barely be on. And depending on what job she has working with the police, it might actually be a bad idea for her to be on at all. So she might just disappear from the channel completely. Lucy goes off to university in September, so she's barely going to be on. Amy's going to reach a point where she is around less, I imagine. I mean, she might decide that she wants to live with us full time, but usually kids with divorced parents reach a certain age where they pick a parent. I don't mean that in a mean way, but they decide to stop living between the 2 houses and just, yeah, this is a lot of hassle. I'm just going to live in this one place and see the other parent once a week or something. When Lucy got to that point, she chose to live with her mum and pop over here every now and again. And I imagine Amy would probably follow suit, because girls tend to go with their mum and that kind of thing. So, and of course, Andy might get to the point where he moves out. So if we look 5 years into the future, I'd like to think this channel still exists. But if it does, it won't be called the Chapman Family. It will be called Kevin Chapman, and it will be me again. And it might never, very rarely feature anybody else. So I don't want to build this huge channel with an audience that are just here to watch Andy do Andy things. Andy's got his own channel for that. And obviously I'm still going to carry on doing my day-to-day family life, which is what we set out to do initially. This is a channel about my daily life, and my daily life at the moment includes a lot of my family, because I work from home, so I see Anna every day. I'm Andy's carer, or one of Andy's carers, so a lot of what I do involves doing care stuff for Andy. And obviously Amy is here like 2-3 days a week, so we see a lot of Amy. But if that changes, I don't want to feel like I have to fake the content or continue making family stuff if we're not really doing... I don't ever want to get to the point where we're doing stuff just for the vlog. I think that's what I'm trying to get to. So I think I need to just go with my gut feel a little bit, because when I have gone with my gut feelings in the past, they genuinely seem quite reliable. It's when I've tried to game the system that we kind of slam the brakes on a little bit. I've kind of done 2 points together there, looking at my phone. I've got viewers don't always know what they want, and you can't have long-term success unless you love the content you're making. Make content for you, not your viewers. I think I've kind of encapsulated all that together. So past Kev, I have covered them both off just as 1 point. But yeah, I do. The bit about making content for you and not your viewers, the big point I always go back to about that is some of the stuff I watch on YouTube is nuts. I watch a guy eating military rations because he's really passionate about I've got no interest in military rations at all. But Steve 1989 MRE Info, I think that's what he's called. I watch every video he comes out. I've got the bell turned on. I watch them immediately, because he's so passionate about what he does and it makes it a fun video. So I watch that because of Steve, not because it's MREs. And there's so many examples of that on YouTube where I watch for the person making it and not for what they're making. And I know that's not the case for everybody, but then I'm not making videos for everybody. We've got less than 100,000 subscribers. I don't need to please 70 million people. I need to please enough people to pay me enough money to pay my bills. So I'm gonna really make a conscious effort in year 3 of being a full-time YouTuber to only ever make videos that I'm absolutely passionate about. There is going to be less sitting in the living room just for the sake of getting Andy on camera, because those are the videos that I don't really think were any good. And I think it does show in the views long term, because the ones that pop are the ones that have a little bit more Kev in them, a little bit more creativity in them. And that's what I'm going to focus on a little bit more. I want to get to the point, and I think a lot of you are already at this point, because a lot of you probably came over from Football Manager to the vlog and are now over watching Minecraft. And I know there's people who say, I've never watched Minecraft, but I watch you play Minecraft. That's what I want. I want an army of people who watch Kev because they like me and like to watch me enjoying myself, and it doesn't really matter what I'm doing or who I'm doing it with. And that's where I want to get the channels to over the course of the next year or two. I think it's going to be a long road, because some of the decisions I've made in the past have made it harder to break down some of the resistance that I've encouraged myself. But I think that's a big learning point. I've got to just keep my own passion firing and just do the stuff that I want to do, and people will follow. And if not enough people follow, hopefully what I'm doing is good enough to bring new people along with me. Hopefully. Or I can just go back and get a real job. And then to end on a lighter note, I guess, one thing that you need to be aware of if you are considering becoming a full-time YouTuber is almost everybody you know will think you're crazy and will not understand what you're doing. My dad, my brother, I'm absolutely certain they think I'm an absolute lunatic. I don't think they understand what I do. I don't think they understand why I'm doing it. I think they're absolutely baffled that I gave up a good job with a lovely pension and career progression prospects to do this weird thing on the internet. I think it's so alien to how they live their lives and how they make their decisions that I don't think they could ever fully understand. And they're certainly not the only ones. When I was leaving work, there were people who I worked with who thought I was mad. When I see people who I haven't seen for a long time, they think I'm a lunatic. People don't understand, unless you're in this world, unless you understand how this world works, and unless you've got that little bit of thinking differently that makes you question the status quo. I think you have to be a huge risk taker. You have to have itchy feet. You have to have an entrepreneurial spirit. Because for a lot of people, the dream is get a good job with a good pension and a nice house and retire early. And I genuinely can't think of anything worse. I don't own this house. I've got no interest in owning this house. I've got no interest in owning a house to live in at all. I'd like to buy houses as investments for other people to live in, but I don't want to own a house to live in. I don't see the point. I genuinely don't care. I don't want to need a pension. I kind of feel like if I get to retirement age and I haven't made enough money to live off, then I've done it wrong. I don't want to have a pension as a fallback. Pensions don't interest me. I don't want to have to go to a place of work 9 to 5 every day, same place for years. It would be soul destroying. I couldn't do it. But I know for a lot of people that is the dream. And I think you have to, if you hear that scenario and think, I'd love that, I'd love a steady income, a good, well-paid income, steady job, nice pension, nice house. If that's your dream, you cannot be a full-time YouTuber. That's not what this is. You have to be a dreamer. You have to be a little bit fearless, and you have to be a massive risk taker, and you have to have, how far into this video are we? Slightly non-family friendly content coming up. Brace yourself. You have to have massive balls to be able to do this, because you have to be able to hold your nerve when everyone around you thinks you should stop. The example I bring it straight back to, from right back at the start of the video, that Christmas 2018, that first year, I probably should have started applying for jobs in like October and November, but I held my nerve. The risk was piling up all the time. I was convinced I could make a go of this. I've just got to keep doing it. If I take my foot off the pedal and start spending time job hunting and going to interviews and being aware that I have to be teacher-friendly content because people will watch the videos if I go to interviews, if I'd have taken my eye off the prize even a little bit, I think I'd have failed. But I was absolutely laser focused and pushed it far beyond where I would recommend anyone else pushes it. I don't think anyone else should make the decisions I've made, because they were crazy decisions looking back, but I was absolutely certain in my own ability, in the success that I knew we could have, and I just held my nerve. It's the gambling spirit in me. I don't know if I've ever mentioned it on this channel, but when I was at uni, I paid my bills by playing poker online. You know, I'm a natural gambler. I don't bet on sports. I have a rule when I'm gambling, and I will only gamble where I can control the outcome. So I don't bet on sports or horses or roulette or slot machines or any of that stuff. But if I poker as an example, if I can control the outcome, if I can invest money in my own ability and know that if I then succeed I will make more money, I will do that every single time, because I will always back myself. And you've got to have that in you. That's the X factor that they talk about. I think you've got to just believe and never stop believing. Journey. Look, don't stop. Anyway, that's it. That just be aware. Be aware. People will think you're a nutcase. If you can handle that, you'll be fine. That has been a very long video. I don't know how to edit this down into something more manageable. I will do my very best. If it ended up being super long, sorry, but I was passionate about it. It was content I made for me. I'm following my own rules, but hopefully I have helped some of you out there, or if nothing else, given those of you who have supported us for the last couple of years a little bit of an update. We're doing all right, and everything is always looking up. Everything grows year on year. Everything's always up. So as long as that continues, we'll be fine forever. So thank you for the support. Thank you for watching this far into the video. If you have enjoyed it, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for more daily vlogs. And thank you very much for watching.